Well, unfortunately, I think it's time to officially declare that these hydrangeas are dead, which makes me so sad. I had 6 of them that I overwintered up here in the plastic greenhouse. These were all either big leaf or mountain hydrangeas, and I think some were a combination of the two, but they were all hardy down to zone 4. So again, I'm zone 6. Recommendation for container gardening to leave something outside is 2 zones lower. So I put all of them in the greenhouse, mostly to protect them from moisture. I think it might have been my fault because some of them did start to form buds while they were in the greenhouse, and then I moved them out here when I took the greenhouse down. And I think because our spring was much cooler than average and there was some rain, I think they might have rotted and I killed them that way. I'm not sure. Maybe it was my fault, maybe it was Mother Nature's fault. All I do know though is that any hydrangeas that were panicle hydrangeas survived. So up here on this deck from now on, I'm only going to grow panicles. They are hardy down to zone 3. They are the hardiest type of hydrangea. So if you have issues with your hydrangeas not surviving the winter and you're near this area, definitely try some panicles. Now I do still have 3 mint plants here. These I'm not giving up on because even last week I've seen some mint leaves pop up. I don't think any are in these yet, but since I am still seeing some relatively recently, oh no, see, I see mint leaves. This one is chocolate mint, so maybe I don't have to buy an extra one. I'm still holding on to those. If I'd gotten rid of these in mid-May, which is usually when I make my alive or dead decisions, I would have lost at least 3, if not 4, that I thought were dead. So if you have mints, give them some extra time. But my hydrangeas, I've even done the scratch test where you scratch off the stem and see if it is brown or green inside. Green means alive, brown means not alive, and they are all brown. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you what I do with my garden waste of dead plants. I try to keep as much plant waste up here in the garden as possible. And then we're going to empty out these containers and plant some flowers in them, I think. Some of these containers are going to stay up here. I think some I'm going to bring down to the parkway at some point, but I know I want to get some annuals in here to add to that back border. The first thing that I'm going to do with all of the hydrangeas is cut the stems in pieces probably about 1 inch long. I'm going to put them in this bucket, and these are going to go in my composter as brown material. I am going to leave enough of the main stem to pull the root ball out. I don't know how root bound these are, so we'll see if I'm left with any soil in the container or if it's all attached to the roots. But first, let's get these stems cut and composted. Now this is sad, but at least when I put the plants that have died back in the garden, I feel a little bit better. I mean, I would rather have them live, but at least knowing that they're still serving my garden somehow makes me feel a little bit better, but not 100% better. Just continuing to chomp, and you can see here, I mean, I am looking to see if there is any green, just in case I missed it, but there are absolutely no signs of life on these hydrangeas. I was going to say luckily they weren't too large, but I just had them last season, so I wish they would have, had more than 1 year in the garden, but maybe I would be even more sad if they were larger. I don't know. So I'm going to leave about this much. Actually, maybe I'll just pull this out right now no, I think that is going to be root bound. I'm going to leave this much to pull out, so I'm going to finish chopping all the stems, and then I'll show you what I plan to do with the root balls. This is what I got in the bucket from the 6 hydrangeas. Not too much, actually, so this is now going to go in my tumbler composter. The next step for me are going to be emptying out the roots of the hydrangeas so I can reuse the pots to plant some annuals. These I'm going to put into this empty bin. So this is the bin that I store old potting soil in that I empty out of smaller pots. I refresh it every year with new potting soil, compost, perlite. This I'm going to take out. I can see if I'm going to break it down, or if it stays as a root ball. These are really good to put into the bottom of larger elevated beds. Maybe they're deeper than you need and you don't want to put a bunch of potting mix in there. So you can fill up the bottom a little bit with these root balls, but do make sure anything that you put in the bottom of a container is in fact dead, because if not, the plant could grow that you buried in your container. I'm actually going to do this in the pot so I don't spill all the extra dirt on the deck. But see, like this stuff, there are tiny little roots, so I can break this up and just put it back in the pot and again refresh it with some compost or fresh potting soil. But anything that's more dense, that would be something I would put at the bottom of a large container. And now I just repeat that process 5 more times. So here's what's currently in the bin. I have the root balls and there is some loose soil underneath it. I don't have a container yet that I need to use the root balls for, but I might soon. So I'm just going to store them in here covered for now. And here are my 6 empty pots. The 2 in the center, the dark brown one and the shortest one, those I'm going to move down to the parkway with hydrangeas, but I'm okay having hydrangeas down there because those I can easily carry and store in the garage. And then the other 4, I'm going to plant things in. What? I don't know yet, but let's go find some stuff. All right, a few updates. The hair is pulled back because it is very warm, and I think I know what I'm going to plant in these empty pots. I currently have 3 of the Double Delight Apple Blossom Begonias. These are fold-apart sun, so they are going to work great up here, but I only have 2 pots that I want to put them in. I don't want to put 2 plants in one in the other, and then put that in the border. So I'm just going to do 1 plant per pot, and the recommended spacing on these is actually 12 inches. Which is the diameter of these pots. So I think I'm finally gonna see what happens when I give a plant enough space. So I'm gonna get these 2 planted and then I'll show you the other 2 pots. I've already added in here to the soil the hydrangeas were growing in. I added biotone and I added some of the blood meal. So now I'm going to top off with the fresh potting mix and then get those planted. Now in this pot, which is the exact same as all of these pots, but in a more taupey color, I'm going to put my 2 remaining Laguna Royal Lilac Lobelia. These are also fold apart sun. I'm going to plant 2 in this container. I don't think I'm going to add this to the border, but it's going to go somewhere else on the deck. Now I do have a 4th pot. It looks exactly like this one, but I don't know for sure what I want to plant in it. And I don't want to just throw stuff in pots this year. I'm trying to take my time and really think about what I actually want in these different pots. So I'm not going to plant it up. I'm going to do something completely different for myself and just leave it empty for a little bit until I figure it out. So I'm going to get these watered in and then we'll get them placed in the border. Here's how the border is looking right now. So I added in the begonias over here on the end, and I'm glad to have another pop of orange because there are going to be some orange or salmon colored China asters, hopefully, assuming that they grow and don't die on me. But I think the orange is going to complement those nicely. Am I bothered? I can see soil in that pot, yes, but I'm going to try to see what happens when you correctly space your plants. So I put 1 there, and then the other one down at the end over there. The lobelia pot, I don't know where it's going yet, so it's just gonna sit here for now. I think this Weigela I'm going to move to the front deck because there is more yellow and pink up there, and I don't really know where anything else is gonna sit quite yet. Still need to get everything planted, and then I can organize it all. So that's gonna be everything for this video. I really do like how I can keep most of the stuff up here, most of my plant waste. I really don't take anything much down anymore unless it is diseased that I will throw away just in the trash can. But I really have been able to reuse so much in my garden. So let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.